want to introduce you to another special guest of ours who's joined us, Larry Seabrook, Democrat from the Bronx, New York State Assembly. Larry, how are you tonight? Good to have you with us here, pal. All right. Let me go back to Phil English. Professor, you have a bizarre theory about allowing murderers to live for the purpose of scientific study. You got to get it.
Well, scientific study is not exactly correct. I do believe that convicted murderers, particularly mass murders, serial murders, political assassins, are a resource that we can use. Your word. Are a resource that we can use as the best form of prevention by keeping them alive, more by studying them, by analyzing them, by finding out what propelled them, to commit.
Put the brain in a bottle.
Listen to me.
Yeah, right.
By finding out what propelled them to do that, we can pass that information on and help prevent it from happening again.
Well, now, I got a better idea. I would say, let's do it this way. I would say you get the death penalty or the opportunity to volunteer yourself to science. And in volunteering yourself to science, we're going to give you AIDS. We're going to find out. No, wait a second. We're going to find out if you get better. These guys might have a chance of being cured if they volunteer themselves and they live through it and get free.
More.
Not a bad idea.
More, that's unfair.
That's unfair. Bill, that's not a bad idea.
Demagogic.
Huh? Demagogic,
Yes,
that's very humane.
No, more.
Very humane.
That's not what I'm suggesting.
I know what you're suggesting.
Okay.
You're suggesting another way to spend $1 billion. Let's study some guy's brain.
Another way to save $1 billion more by taking what we learned and applying it.
That's Larry, you've been listening to this all evening long, all right?
Yeah.
You got any suggestions, any answers, any comments?
Well, I think the suggestion that I have is to see that I agree that life without parole is certainly the answer and a deterrent, because the death penalty is shown, if we look at 5 different states that have the death penalty already, that the murder rate has increased. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas.
All right, we're talking about all the dope capitals, all right?
And the rate has increased, and they've had the death penalty.
And we're talking about all the dope
officers in each one of those states has increased. There's less police officers being killed in the state of New York right now. I believe if we're talking about really getting tough and dealing with crime, that we have to deal with life without parole.
But then you get back to this other gentleman's thesis that if you give life without parole, these guys, the inmates, run the prison.
No, that is not true, Mort. That is not true because if a person, that is not true because life without parole, and if an individual so happens to kill a corrections officer, he could get 20 years in solitary confinement.
Mort, if I may, Mort.
Show me an instance where an individual in the state of New York have actually had a life sentence that he actually killed a corrections officer.
Now, that's a step forward. Let me go to Mr. Fernandez. Sir?
Martinez.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Martinez. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. I like your red side handkerchief, sir. You got good taste.
First of all, Mort, I'm listening to this, and capital punishment is the cornerstone of any creditable system of law enforcement. Once the killer's eliminated, you can't kill anymore. And I listened to statistics, and I listened to the different hearts, and fortunately, I was around in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. In the 40s and the 50s, our crime rate was pretty low where I come from, Newark, New Jersey. And now we can point to there was a death penalty eliminated by professors throughout the college telling the kids smoking drugs and take pot. It's going on all over the country. Big movement.
Professors are telling students. Professors are telling
Let me finish. There was a big movement in the 60s. Professors all over this country.
We obviously never heard of Timothy Leary.
But during this period of time, when I would call it the liberalism, the death penalty was eliminated in many states, and New Jersey being one of them. And now, when we had 40 or 50 murders in the entire state of New Jersey in the 40s and the 50s, today we're up to 200. And we have the death penalty, but it hasn't been used yet. I always believe that the justice system is not swift, and it's not certain. And I agree with you. sir, that it is not swift and certain, and we prolong it for many, many years. I think the bleeding hearts, if they really feel sorry, they have life control, they should take them home with them. And they should live in their house.
Well, let me get back to Surf. Surf, let me ask you, the one reservation that I do have is that the death penalty has not been really applied equitably on a racial basis. I really think that sucks, all right? I'll grant you that right now, the largest amount of crime is black on black, and then black on white, and then white on white, and then white on black, all right? But over 80%, of course, of the death penalty goes to the blacks. How do you circumvent that problem?
Well, I don't know that you can circumvent it very easily, but I think that Larry's figures just a moment ago, he's basically talking about a great deal of the southern states, where, of course, they have a high black population, and they have a so-called high black underclass. And I think the people who are in the lower economic strata are always, to a certain extent, going to commit a good deal, a high percentage of the crime.
Your serial murderers aren't usually of the low strata.
Well, but there aren't that many serial murderers. I think, I'd just like to say a moment on his figures. There's nothing to indicate that those figures wouldn't be higher were it not for the death penalty. As far as the black people being subject to a larger proportion of the death penalty, I think right now a very, very high percentage of the prison population is black. And I don't know how you get around that. I think all we can do in New York State, all we can do in whatever state we're from, is ensure that a defendant, an accused, gets a fair trial. And after he gets a fair trial, he should get a swift verdict, he should get a swift judgment, a swift sentence, and then he should serve the sentence. And that's the problem.
You know, maybe what we should really do is stop worrying about all these public defenders who defend these guys and really don't have their heart in it, and get members of the ACLU to volunteer their time to help Mr. J, to help all of these murders. Get in there, help all of them.
We do.
You help all of them.
Yes, sir.
They help all of them.
Because we
That'll
help
give you an
everyone.
idea of why we've got such problems, all right? Let the audience speak out. Next, stay with us.